Hey guys, Isaac here. Today in this video we're going to be talking about whether to go with Shopify or WordPress for building an e-com store. Now, the reason that I have a bit of, authority or reason to be able to even talk about this topic is because if some of you might have been seeing a few of my videos by now, you'll know that I've been in the website design, marketing, copywriting, and SEO, the whole marketing, essentially, web design space for nearly 10 years now. So I've used both WordPress and Shopify when building out websites for clients. And so I first started with using WordPress, and WordPress is absolutely phenomenal in terms of, it's still the most popular website CMS software, website builder that's out there, that's on there. Large majority, a huge amount of websites are made from WordPress. But since WordPress, WordPress has been out for decades now. It was one of the first, real CMS, softwares out there to provide, being able to create websites without all the coding and everything. So it was one of the first into the game, and it's phenomenal in terms of some of the things you can do with it. However, there's two really big differences if you're going to go ahead with an e-com store. So from the perspective of WordPress has a builder called Elementor. Now, because WordPress itself, just like Shopify itself, its native builder is not very good. WordPress is pretty similar in the sense that its builder is really poor, from my opinion. Other people might think differently, but I think it's really poor. But it has builders which you can install as a plugin. And one of the best plugins for WordPress is Elementor. Now, I've used Elementor, and I still use Elementor when I do WordPress websites for clients. And I still occasionally make my own WordPress websites myself, because they can be cheaper to run. I think, if you get the hosting, you pick your own hosting, and you can, save it. It's a lot cheaper than a Shopify store. So there's definitely a benefit there to WordPress, that it's definitely cheaper. However, the WordPress learning curve is a lot higher in terms of just plugins and just all the different things that are there. There's a lot of good things going for WordPress. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with WordPress, but when it comes to e-commerce, so building an actual online store, selling products, you just cannot beat Shopify. And that was hard for me. Would have been hard for me once to admit, because I was a big WordPress guy. I've created, over the years, I've created multiple Udemy courses with tens of thousands of students have gone through them, how to build WordPress websites and everything like that. So I definitely have been the WordPress guy. However, when I started working with e-commerce clients over the last few years, building out their websites, I started to see what it was like using WordPress's, their attempt at building an e-com store, which is WooCommerce. And from my opinion, and it's not just mine, I've spoken with other people over the years that agree, WordPress's WooCommerce is very, very clunky, very poor to use compared to Shopify's, e-commerce platform. So Shopify is an e-commerce, it's only made for e-commerce, whereas WordPress is more made for, if you do everything on there, but from my opinion, if you're going to be creating a website that's a personal blog, if you're going to be creating a website that's maybe a service-based thing, like you're a health coach or something like that, some kind of personal type website, then WordPress is the way to go for sure down that route. I'm not saying you can't build that out on Shopify, but WordPress is really good for that side of things, but it is not good if you're wanting to create an e-com website. If you want to create an e-com website, there is nothing better than Shopify. I remember the first time I started using it, I just couldn't believe how easily everything just intuitively came together. Everything just worked. Whereas on WordPress, there was always issues with WooCommerce. There was things that didn't work, and things you had to do all these convoluted, crazy things just to make things work. And on Shopify, you just click things and they work. You just, I've never, honestly, as so far, I have not run into issues with Shopify, like with things just breaking or not working or not loading, or, all the apps and everything integrate perfectly, and, everything just seamlessly works together. And that's why I love Shopify for e-commerce, and I wouldn't recommend anything else. And obviously this is called Isaac Ecom, this YouTube channel, so it's all about e-commerce. And so if you're creating an e-com brand, I'm 100% genuine. I don't say things that I don't believe in, and if you're going to be building an e-com store, it's going to be with Shopify, because it just, even their user support, like their support system, if you've got issues, it's so easy to contact them through the support system. Everything, everything just works. And that's what you need when you're first creating a website, your own online store. You don't want things being clunky and confusing. It's already overwhelming enough to get started. So you just want to be able to actually create something that, it's easy and it works. And that's what Shopify is. So I can speak more, like so many different things of why I recommend Shopify. But, I could go on and on about it. But from what I've said now, there's benefits to WordPress, of course. If you're building out a personal blog, or you're building out like a coaching or a services-based website, WordPress can be a way to go. But if you're building an e-com store, like a print on demand, a drop shipping, a physical product, anything like that, you're selling digital products even, you just cannot beat Shopify. It is easily the best way to go. And yes, the only caveat is that you could consider it a little bit more expensive than WordPress, because it's around $29 US a month, but you get what you pay for, because everything just works. Everything's clean. This amazing user support, amazing support. And once you know what you're doing, it is absolutely phenomenal platform. And I just absolutely love it. And that's why I've now created this channel, to share my love of it and share as much value as I possibly can. So if for WordPress versus Shopify, it depends in the end. It depends on what you're using it for. But if you're going for an e-commerce store, and that's likely why you've clicked on this video, nothing better than Shopify. So hopefully that is cleared out the question that is always ongoing of WordPress versus Shopify. I know this question will keep getting asked forever, and hopefully from someone who's actually worked in this field for nearly 10 years can give you a bit of perspective on that. So if you haven't signed up for Shopify, just know the link is down below. It's going to give you the best promo deal that you can for signing up. But I hope that you found this video valuable, and if you want to see more videos like this, be sure to like this, hit subscribe, and also I will also mention that if you are looking to get started with Shopify, I've actually created a 7-hour tutorial. I have a link below in the description as well that goes through everything you actually need to create a Shopify store. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.